Welcome to the Global Home Inspector School Training Program Overview. This is an informational video on how to train to become a home inspector in the great state of Hawaii. I am Matt Fletcher. That's me there on the left. That's an old picture. My hair is now white. I'm a former high school construction trades teacher turned home inspector. I've been a home inspector for over 26 years, and I started my own Home Inspectors Training Association, and we wrote our own curriculum to train new home inspectors. And this is my pitch to get you to sign up with us instead of somebody else. Let's look at some of the benefits to going in the home inspection business. So there's a low barrier to entry compared to many other trades. So like an electrician or an architect, you don't have to train for years and years to start doing it. The training and certification licensing process varies by state. So you have to check in to what your state requires. Now, I checked on Hawaii just before making this video, and as far as I could tell, they don't have any licensing requirements in the state of Hawaii yet. So you can basically do your training and then do your marketing and go right into the home inspection business. There's a low cost to get started in the home inspection business. If you've been a contractor and you have a pickup truck and some ladders, those are probably some of the biggest expenses to become a home inspector, that truck and having some ladders. And our students complete the course in about 30 days usually, about 30 days. So each lesson's about an hour, hour and a half, and then we give you an hour to take the test. So say 2.5 hours per lesson. So you could do one a night. Earning potential. So as long as people are buying and selling homes, which will be forever, you'll have business. On average, people move about every 6.5 years now. Inspection work cannot be offshored and it cannot be replaced with AI, artificial intelligence. So it's good job security. Flexible schedule. This is one of the reasons I liked it. Most home inspectors are self-employed, giving them control over the hours they work, the number of jobs they want to do, and the amount of time they want to take off. You can do it full or part-time. Like I said, I started out part-time and then I ended up doing it full-time. Let's talk about the training program a little bit. Like I said, I was a high school construction teacher. I actually have a master's degree in teaching and additional certification to teach construction in the state of Michigan. So in my class, we built a real house each school year. These are my students here observing our foundation contractor pouring the footing for our foundation. In our lessons, you will not only learn how to inspect a building, but you learn how it is built and why things are done the way they are and what to look for. There's another one of my teaching pictures. So the plumber came in and the kids and I would help the plumber do the plumbing in the house. This is the underground plumbing. You can see our basement walls are poured there. Uh, the the floor, the deck will go on right here. It'll sit on top of the foundation. So we would get in there and help do the plumbing, and the licensed plumber would get paid while we did the work. So it was a learning experience for the kids. We did frame everything ourselves. This is us framing the flooring system on that same, I think that's the same house. So we are putting down, that's Adventech 3/4 inch tongue and groove plywood. We used I-joists that year, we call them IJs, and we screwed them and glued them down. So the kids are putting the glue down, then we'd screw them into place with the recommended decking screws for that plywood. We also helped the electrician and the roofer put the roof on, but we framed the house completely ourselves. We put the siding on ourselves, the doors and windows ourselves. We hung all the doors inside, did all the trim work, cabinets and things like that. So we either participated in, watched, or did it ourselves and everything. This is another picture that I took of the house we were building. So notice the vapor barrier, moisture barrier around the perimeter here. So that's the house, that's the front door. This is the front porch slab being poured. The moisture barriers to prevent rot there, because in construction, we started to notice over the years that that concrete slab was not always sealed real great here where it meets the house, and moisture would get in there and rot out the siding or the rim joist on the house. So now we put a moisture barrier in there, and here's why. This is a rim joist on the house, if you're familiar. That's the rim joist, what's left of it. There's the concrete slab for the front porch. So wherever you have a front porch with a concrete slab against the house, especially if it's not covered, the covered porch that don't have a roof over it, you can have trouble like this. So when you go in, this is a crawl space house. So when you go in that crawl space, we teach you what to look for. Okay, this is one of the biggest problems you can find in a crawl space. A couple little holes there in the wood. That's probably powder post beetles, which are pretty common here in the Detroit area. Here's another thing to look for in a crawl space. We mostly have basements here in Detroit, but we got some crawl space houses, and they can be a problem. Notice how the downspout dumps water right next to the entryway for the crawl space. And you can't tell from this picture, but this is negative grade here. So in other words, the grade slants toward the house instead of away. So when the water comes out of that downspout, it turns and goes right in that crawl space. And here's what you see when you go in there. So you can tell you don't have a trained eye yet, but you can tell by looking at this crawl space, the efflorescence on the wall, and it looks damp in here. And here in the foreground, you can see the wood is wet in some places. So they did some renovation work on this house. Some flippers were flipping it, I think. And they tore the floor out above and they let the debris fall into the crawl space. They never cleaned it up, which is a no-no. So now that wood is laying on this wet ground, all that water's coming in, and it's starting to rot, and that will attract wood destroying insects like powder post beetles. We even have termites here in Michigan, carpenter ants, things like that. So when you see something like this in a crawl space, you write that up as a defect in your report. We also see that there's no vapor barrier on the ground, that downspouts dumping water right next to the foundation out there, negative grade, water getting in there. All that would go in the report as defective items. And we teach you how to do that in our lessons. All right. I'm not the only instructor in this course. Your other instructor is Dr. Joe Vaglica. That's Joe there in the middle. Joe is a PE professional engineer, and he also has a PhD in engineering. And he has taught construction part-time here all around Detroit area. He taught at Macomb Community College, the University of Detroit, and he is actually the director of the construction management program at Wayne State University. Uh, Vaglica is spelled Vaglica if you want to Google his name. So Joe and I, between the two of us, I think we have over 50 years of experience in construction, inspecting buildings and building things. So Joe isn't just a professor who's in the classroom all the time pontificating. Joe's out in the field actually doing it. He owns Gateway Engineering in Shelby Township, and this is a subdivision that Joe built. Uh, he and his partner bought the raw land, and Joe laid out the lots to build homes in. He designed the road and the sewer system, did the drawings, pulled all the permits. So Joe's a doer, not just a professor. So that's who your other instructor is. So between the two of us, I think we all have the bases covered. All right, let's talk more about the curriculum. So not only do we teach you how to inspect homes, we also have several lessons on commercial building inspections. So small and medium-sized commercial buildings. This is a restaurant here, probably about 2,000, 3,000 square feet. That's what I mean by small. So we have lessons on the commercial building themselves, a separate lesson on flat roofs. You can see this building has a flat roof. So that's kind of a different animal compared to a pitched roof on most houses. So we teach you about flat roofs, parking lots, and commercial restrooms, public restrooms. So other organizations charge extra for commercial training, and some of them are charging between like $1,500 and $4,000, and they justify that by saying, "Oh, you can charge more for commercial buildings," which is true, um, but not that much more. So we include that in our lessons at no extra charge, so you get it for free. This is the front of that, the roof of that same building. You see the little arch there that was on the front. These sinkholes right here. See, that's what happens when a flat roof starts to fail and it starts to leak. You get these sinkholes because the wood is starting to rot underneath there. A lot of times the HVAC system, the heating and cooling system, will be on the roof. That is both a furnace and an air conditioner there, so we teach you about that. And then these are two big exhaust vents because it's a restaurant. These are for the kitchen area, so you'll learn about that too. We have a separate lesson on parking lots for commercial buildings, so you'll learn about the striping. This is a driving area, but there'll be stripes where cars are supposed to park, what to look for on that. The parking curbs or bumpers, they call them sometimes, so cars can't hit the building. Directional arrows like we have there. Drainage, we have a drain there. Bollards, these are called bollards, and they're there to protect the gas meter there on the building. So you'll learn about that, what to look for, what to write up in your reports. This is an ADA bathroom, Americans with Disability Act bathroom. So you got to have certain door width, 36 inches here, a turn-in radius for wheelchairs inside the bathroom, grab bars, and things like that. So we'll teach you about that as well. Sewer scopes. Believe it or not, we also have a lesson on sewer scopes, and we have, I think, 13 or 15 videos on actual sewer scopes, lesson on cameras, lesson on the dangers of sewer scopes, like bacteria. You can get hepatitis from sewer water, so you got to be careful. You got to take precautions, wear rubber gloves, some goggles, things like that. We also teach you how to market your sewer scope business. So if you're starting out in the home inspection business, I think one of the first things you should do, we call them add-ons, is buy a sewer camera and start doing sewer scopes. So add-ons could be radon testing or mold testing. Um, Here where we are, there's not a lot of radon. I don't try to push mold tests on people. If I think they need a mold test, I'll tell them, but that's rare. But I can honestly say every building, new or old, should have a sewer scope done. Because if it's a new building, you will find rocks in there, construction debris, pieces of 2x4 that fell in there, beer cans. So sewer scopes can add $15,000 easily to your bottom line. We charge 150 with a home inspection or a building inspection, and 250 as a standalone. And I know in some cities they charge $400 for a sewer scope. And again, other organizations charge around $500 for sewer scope training, and ours is included at no extra charge. So between Joe and I having about over 50 years experience in both being construction teachers and including the commercial inspection lessons and the sewer scope lessons, you will not find a better deal than this. And I encourage you to shop around. Don't take my word for it. Go shop around. So let's look at our website for a minute here. So we are a licensed post-secondary proprietary school in the state of Michigan. Um, this is our inspection training website here. You may have already seen it, and it's globalinspectionschool.com. There's a enroll now button in the upper left hand corner, I should say. So you just click on that, put in your credit card information, and then once you're enrolled, you have student access over here, and you just click on that, and there's a drop down menu, and you go into my courses, and you can pick which courses you want to take first. So once you click the drop-down menu, this is what you see. There's a course introduction. It just basically tells you what I'm telling you right now. They're in alphabetical order. Important points are bolded. So if something's bolded, you're gonna be tested on it. We repeat important points. That's how they train teachers. They say, look, if you want your students to remember something, you need to give them 3 exposures to it. You need to talk about it. You need to show them a picture of it, and then you have them write about it afterward. So there's your 3 exposures. So that's what we do with our students. We show you pictures, videos, we talk about it, it's discussed in the lesson, and then you have to write about it at the end in your essay question. So you can see there, air conditioning, they're all in alphabetical order. You can do them any order you want, but air conditioning is the first one after course introduction. That's one of the harder ones. I would start with something other than mechanical. Don't start with air conditioning, heating and cooling, or plumbing, unless you have experience in that. If you have experience, yeah, go ahead and do it. But I would start with something easy like exterior or roofs, lots and grounds, living spaces. So the tests, at the end of every lesson, there's a test consisting of true and false and multiple choice questions. The final 2 questions are essays. So the first one is just like a bonus question. It says, hey, what do you think of the lesson? What do you think we could do to improve it? So just put something in there and you'll get the extra credit for it. Okay. Then the other essay question is, okay, we just taught you about commercial roofs, for instance. That's what this one is. So tell us how you would inspect a roof. That's your essay question. Tell us how you would do it, what you would be looking for, what items you would put on your checklist, and that is a very good introduction to getting started in the inspection business. It's like it makes you think about it. And I grade the essay questions, okay? And I'm not super hard. Um, Very rarely does anyone fail the quiz. The essay question is worth 10 points, and so it's worth double what the other questions are, the true and false and the multiple choice. But you'll do fine. You just do what we tell you to do, and you'll do fine. The road to success is always under construction. I took that picture. I was a judge at a shed building contest at one of the high schools, and the whole team showed up wearing those T-shirts, and I thought they were cool. So I took that picture, and I'm going to get some T-shirts made like that, in fact. So in other words, if you want to up your skills and continue on up and away in the construction business, maybe you've been a tile setter or a roofer and you want to move on to something else and become a home inspector, you got to up your skills if you want to succeed, guys. You always got to be learning new things. That's the way it goes. So if you're serious about becoming a home inspector, you've come to the right place. Go to our website and sign up. Well, let's do a little review here. So you get the complete home inspection course from the foundation to the roof. You'll learn everything you need to be a home inspector, believe me, and then some. We also include small and medium-sized commercial building inspection training. So realtors, when a realtor has you inspect a house, they'll say, "Hey, do you do commercial?" Make sure you put that in your marketing materials, like your brochures or cards, so you'll know how to do it. Sewer scope training. Also include that, like I said, other organizations charge extra for commercial and sewer scope training. You've got 2 very highly qualified instructors with the book of learning and the field experience, all for $450. Again, I shop around. I encourage you to look around, see if you can find a better deal than that. If you can, and first let me know, and then take the other guy, because that is an outrageous deal if you can get cheaper than that. So globalinspectionschool.com. Go there and sign up today if you're really serious about doing this or think about it. I'm not trying to pressure you. If you have any questions, that's my number right there, 313-510-0284. No, we do not have a toll-free number. If you're serious, you'll pay for the phone call. And I will talk to you as long as you want. You can also text me at that number. If you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. We use Gmail for everything, for sending big inspection files. So Global Inspection School at gmail.com would be my email address. That's globalinspectionschool@gmail.com. Okay. We hope to hear from you and hope to have you as one of our students. And like I said, if you have any questions, call me up. Thank you.